Latino Wall Street, Disrupt Nation. There's so many things that I can list for you that I take up the whole fucking camera. But the reason I'm here today is because I'm selling all my crypto and he's buying it all.
Nah. For pennies on the dollar.
For pennies on dollars. Fire sale.
No, so we're talking about the economy. We're talking about the recession. We're talking about how to become recession proof, right? And there's a lot of fear in the market. So before we started rolling the cameras, we were talking about how you turn on the news and all you see is fear. And, you know, some of it's warranted, right? Like there are some real big changes that are coming down the pipeline. So you're a big real estate guy.
I try to be.
A big hard money guy.
Real estate is the biggest hedge against inflation, just saying. But I'm not pitching that. I'm just saying that it's a proven method.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. I'm not a financial professional.
Sure?
I'm not a financial professional. But one thing I was talking to Trey about off the camera too, I want to pick your brain on it. He was asking me like things about economic indicators and stuff like that. And I said that honestly, a recession is actually good because it purges shit, right? Like I'm just gonna go back 2 years where the pandemic hit and there was a lot of money flooded into the system. And if that money was used appropriately for everybody.
A lot of fake money.
Well, just generated by the government. And people were using it not for what they were supposed to be using it. And then other people were just making more money being home than at work and decided never to go back to work. And they just kept running with it.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like this may be like...
Well, so there was what they call it, the Great Resignation.
Right, the Great Resignation.
Where everyone was like...
Fuck it. I don't want to work no more.
Yeah, I'll work from home.
Or I'm not going to work.
Or I'm not going to work.
Because money's good right now. Stimmy money.
Stimulus checks.
Stimmy checks.
So now as we're looking at inflation, right? I was talking earlier about how there's less discretionary
income
in the average household.
Yeah.
So someone that has $1,000 a week salary, right, and they have $100 allocated towards gas, $200 towards groceries, $500 towards rent, X, Y, and Z, right, and they would maybe have $500 in discretionary income that they will be able to play with. And now as the cost of groceries is going up, the cost of rent is going up, the cost of gasoline in your car is going up, those things are not optional.
The cost of living is going up.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. Anything you want to do. You want to wake up, you want to go to the store, it costs more money, right? Yeah. Electricity costs money, everything.
So any business that's now non-essential is going to get hit.
Yeah. They can be looked at twice. Like, do I really need that? The impulse shopper. And again, talking to Trey off the camera, for the educated person, like some people just don't give a fuck. They're just gonna be like, I don't care. It's the truth. It's the truth. I talk to everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't discriminate. Some people don't care, and but that's why they keep going in that financial circle of being in debt. And I believe bankruptcies are gonna come in a whole new wave, starting with corporate, because a lot of big corporations are gonna start merging. Gonna be a lot of mergers and acquisitions because some people can't survive, and that's gonna trickle down personally, and you're gonna see that again. That was a big wave of it. And it's strategic for some people. For other people, it's just, like I said, money was really free before. It was almost like, you have a good idea here, here's $1 million. And now it's gonna be like, all right, so what's the ROI? Like people are gonna start looking under the hood more. I believe. Yeah. What do you think?
So I think that the businesses that position themselves as essential are gonna be able to thrive, right? And how can you make what you're doing essential?
Right.
So real estate's essential, right?
You need a place to live. You need a place to live. I got you. Yeah. And you need money.
Yeah.
I got you too.
Yeah. Have you seen any changes in the lending process? I know you do really big loans, multi-million-dollar loans for multi-million-dollar homes. Have you seen a change in what the banks are asking for, the validation process, all of those things?
Absolutely not. If anything, during the pandemic, it got harder because there was also the uncertainty of you having a job. They will call the day you apply, the middle of the loan, the day you're closing, make sure you're working. Because, people are going to let go left and right. But like I was telling Trey off camera again, I keep mentioning him. Trey, you're going to get on camera later. They're making more money now, right? The rates are going up. There's a spread. right? So 6% now. Like before, 2 years ago, about, I would say we were in the twos. This was never seen before in our history.
The money was free.
Yeah, it was never, like, that's what, like, again, back to Trey, because he was asking me a question. I was like, nobody ever saw that shit before. In '05 when I started, I sold 9%. In 1985, 14.5%. That's what mortgages were. So understand how blessed we were. Like during that dip, buy low, sell high.
I bought my house.
Grab everything. Right, me too.
I was at 3%, grandfathered in.
Grab everything. And now, so what I see now is that people that thought they could buy $1 million house now, because rates went up, can afford $600,000. That's what's really happening. The buying power.
But isn't that gonna make the real estate pricing go down?
I don't think it'll drop it. I think it'll stop pushing it up, because before it was getting so wild. And a certain price point though, not in all the price points. In the price point between 4 and 7, there were 30 offers over asking. There was, I don't know if you know what some of these things are. No mortgage contingency, no appraisal waiver. Meaning if the house is not worth it, I'm still buying that shit. I'll give you the cash. Like all that shit's going away now. Now it's gonna be like, all right, man, if it doesn't appraise, we gotta talk about it because the money's not free anymore. Because I'm not grabbing $400,000 at 1% or 2% or 3%, and I could put $100,000 down. Now I'm grabbing that shit at 6%. That shit's starting to hurt. You know, if your payment was, I'll give you an example. On a $1 million house in certain areas in Westchester, at 2%, 2.5%, your payment with taxes and everything, $5,500. Now, $7,800. Just to give you like a number, right? So it's almost like 1.5 times. So now it's gonna make people think twice. Be like, yo, do I really want that house that bad? And you know, then it's not even just about getting the house, maintaining it, right? Like now I gotta pay $8Gs a month. Like, you know, you start thinking about shit like that. You're like, and is my money coming in the way it used? Because now, you know, again, there was a lot of creative financiers out there with the stimmy money, and everybody had a hook, everybody had a plug. Now we gotta kind of earn it. So I'm one of those assholes that kind of think the recession might kind of slow things down a little bit, because I think we were kind of like, we were kind of like in the tech bubble in the 80s, like everything was mad, you know, like mad value. Oh, yo, grab it here, let's buy it. Bro, there's some real estate. It's not fake estate, it's real. It's based on real shit, not just whatever you think. And I think that's what was happening. And shout out to all the guys that didn't quit the business soon. Shout out to you guys, because you guys came in there. Everybody thought it was gonna be easy to be a realtor, easy to be a loan officer. Oh, everything's that cheap. Oh, I'm making $1 million. Now like, oh, what's happening? Nobody qualifies. Nobody wants to work with me. See you guys later.
Well, I remember me and my wife, before we bought our home, we had put the offer in January, right before the pandemic, right. January 2020. And then they were doing the paperwork. They were supposed to close the week of the 2 weeks to slow the spread. And I'm on the phone with my mortgage guy, and he's like, I don't care about this COVID thing. It's still in China. It's not here yet. We're going to close this week. Hurry. And then literally the day we're supposed to close, he called me like, I'm sorry, it's illegal for me to close this home. We have to wait. And so we ended up waiting a few extra months. And then when they opened stuff back up, we were the first people. The first day it was legal to close, we closed.
You closed, great.
But I remember going back and forth with the developer, because the development, all the homes were new, and we were telling him, yeah, we don't know, like maybe we won't do it because probably real estate prices are gonna crash. And he's like, no, they're gonna go up. He's like, trust me, they're gonna go up. And we're like, this guy's just trying to sell us stuff.
Yeah, he's just trying to close the deal.
Yeah, he's just trying to close the deal. But lo and behold, 6 months, a year down the line, the value of our home doubled, just because of like supply and demand, and people really want to move to Puerto Rico for those tax programs. But I do think that we are due for like a little bit of a correction just in the whole entire market. It was very fluffy. It was very frothy in 2020 and 2021.
Frothy.
Yeah. With all that stimulus money floating.
That stimmy money, man. Yeah.
So I do think that we're due for a correction. But that being said, people always need a place to stay. And I think a lot of the home prices that did increase were kind of homes like myself, where people wanted to get out of major cities, right?
Right, they wanted space.
Yeah. Or they wanted to get to a place that's tropical, right? Like, so like that Miami bubble really bubbled up really hot as well. Or they wanted to go upstate New York with a nice big house with ocean views or lake views, city views, right? And they wanted to get out of the inner city. Let's switch topics a little bit. Let's talk about real estate investing, right? Multi-unit deals. I know you're working on a deal right now. You told me about off camera. I know you probably can't disclose all the details.
NDA, bro, NDA. No, I think real estate.
But how do those deals work? I think a lot of times people think, okay, real estate, I'm gonna buy a condo or a foreclosure or one unit, and I'm gonna try to rent it out and fix it up and X, Y, and Z. And a lot of times that ends up costing you more. You end up losing money on a deal like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how these bigger deals work. These 20-unit deals, 50-unit deals, where you're buying into a community that has cash flow. Like, how does all that work?
All right, well, I won't even go that far ahead, because if you use the principle of a 2-unit to a 20-unit, it's kind of the same thing, right? So 1 unit, especially for the rookie investor, I wouldn't advise, because your tenant doesn't pay you, you're 100% of the loss, you got to carry it, right? And another part with real estate, it takes a minute to start seeing it if you do it the right way, because you buy a property, there's some maintenance you got to take care of, but you always want to stay ahead of it. I think what our group does, our philosophy is, if people like where they live, they're gonna want to pay, right? So like we don't let things get crazy. We always stay ahead of it. We're repaving a parking lot right now. We do the roof before it starts leaking. I know it sounds expensive, but in the long run, we get our money back. But going back to the 2-family, I think a 2-family, basically the rents minus your mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance, your differential is your profit. You can find certain areas in Connecticut, Massachusetts. I think New York is way too expensive, but that's another story. In New York, there's a proliferation of people having a 2-family, adding an illegal apartment, or like chopping. I got one client. Basement. I got a client. I'm not gonna say your name. A 1-family into a 6-family. He's making $9,000 a month. God bless you. I was just there yesterday, so I was like, damn, bro.
Is that like an old Victorian or something? Like a really big?
Bro, he blew the house up, and it just happens to be an area where people don't really come too much.
Oh my God.
And he's doing Latino, he's making it. I love him. I was like, make your money, bro. Make your money. He was like, I need a loan. I was like, I can't do it. It's not legal. But it's really about cash flow analysis. You look at a property, this is what it costs to carry it, and this is what I'm gonna make from it. And you also have to understand that the first year or two, you're not gonna be able to pull quick, because you want to, if you buy a house, you should treat like a separate business, a separate person, a separate entity altogether.
Yeah, so you set up an LLC.
Set up an LLC, have the rents deposited into that LLC, budget in that LLC, and have some sort of, savings, because things go wrong. Boilers break, people break things, it happens. But if you feel like you're always pulling out of your pocket, then you're doing something wrong, right? Like you gotta become, and it's the hardest part, especially for my brown and black people, is we have to be disciplined. We see it. Oh, it's ours. Yes, it is yours, but you have to defer. I think the definition of maturity,
deferred gratification,
is deferment gratification. Right, exactly. So defer that gratification for now, bro. Make sure your investment is a long-term thing. Make sure you're good, and then in year 1, year 2, then you're like, all right, I could pull $1,000 because I have $40,000 in case of anything going wrong. I grab $1,000 a month from the rents, and now you're kind of living. I think people get into it and they just want to. They're in such a rush of the thought of being a big time landlord that they're rushing it. I think there's an acronym they call BRRRR, which is buy, rehab, refinance, repeat. And I get that, but within time, and you got to have the finances in order. You can't be running on empty all the time, because it's like you start building like a stack of cards.
Well, yeah. And
one thing goes wrong.
One boiler breaks, one roof cracks, and you got a $20,000 bill to repair it.
And then you don't have the money. And then who's going to pay you rent living with fucking snow coming into your house, right? Like, same concept. But I think that's the part where people will understand. And I feel that, especially during this pandemic, with, even with crypto, with NFTs, all that, they're all investment vehicles. But I think people didn't see it that way. They see it as, I want to get rich now.
They're too short
today.
term.
Today.
Yeah.
Oh, we get paid tomorrow? Can I sell tomorrow? Bro, what happens overnight? You know what I'm saying? Nothing really worth it happens overnight. Because they say easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of seeing a little pedestal. Like, a lot of people are getting a little burned by that. The guys that who really believe in the philosophy and buy what they call the dip, right? And can hold over some time.
Well, that's the other interesting thing. Is they did a study on children, the marshmallow study, and they took kids, They gave him a marshmallow. They put him in a room like this, and with a camera, and they said, "Here, we're gonna give you this marshmallow. If you can wait, we're gonna go outside for 30 minutes. If you can wait 30 minutes till we come back, we'll give you 2 marshmallows to eat it." Right? So they did the study. Half the kids eat it, the other half don't, and then they followed those kids later on in life. The ones that were able to delay gratification and wait to get that second marshmallow did better financially, did better in school, did better in life, right? And it proves the point that skill set, because it really is a skill set, it's a muscle, anyone can learn and develop it. That skill set of delaying gratification and having patience is what's gonna pay off in the long term, you know? So to your point, whether it's stocks, whether it's crypto, whether it's real estate, right? You have to have a long-term mindset, and you don't want to bankrupt your company, right? Like if you have a real estate venture, you're going to set up an LLC, it's its own company,
right.
It needs its own cash flow, right? So building up that cushion, but a lot of that stuff gets complicated. A lot of that stuff gets complex, right? And that's why I think getting into these bigger deals, and maybe we can get into that now, these bigger deals where it's not only you're not the only investor, and you're not the only person responsible for the maintenance, the collecting the rent,
right.
the repairs, the restructuring of the loans, all of those things. If you can get into a bigger deal, and now that deal has 50 units, 50 people that are paying rent. If you got 50 people paying rent and one person moves out, not that big a deal.
Doesn't hurt you.
You got 2 people paying rent and one of them moves out,
50% of your income.
You're gonna be in trouble.
Right.
Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
gonna
You're
immediately
gonna feel it.
go from cash flow positive to cash flow negative.
Pulling out your pocket,
Yeah.
or pulling out the LLC. As the deals get bigger, the funny thing is that most people don't understand. 1 to 4 families, the banks care about your finances. They want to see your tax returns. They want to see your pay stub.
Your credit score.
We
were talking about this before,
Yeah.
right? It's the small money that cares about a credit score.
They want to see everything.
Right? Once you're in a bigger deal, the credit score starts to not matter.
The bigger deal, I can get done at 500, but 680 is the number they want to see. Really, it's all about the income and expenses of the property. That's what they're lending the money on. And even better, some of them are non-recourse. What that means is you don't even personally guarantee them shits. Basically, the building is the guarantee, right? The only thing with larger deals, you have to put a significant down payment. And that's why we started, me and my group was 4 of us. We each put 25% down, and whatever it is, like on a deal we did for $2 million, we each put 25%. You can do the numbers. On a deal we're doing for, I believe, $12 million, 25%, And
so the bank needs 25%?
No, the bank needs 20% minimum. That's what they want to see, 20% down payment on a commercial property, as long as it's cash flow.
As opposed to a regular residential.
On a 1 to 4 with the FHA programs, you get in at 3.5.
3.5.
3.5. But your income.
Is there a cap on FHA?
Or loan limits? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, you can only own 1 house. FHA has to be a primary.
Okay.
And, I want to say 1 family's right now in New York City, the loan limit is like 908 or something like that, or 950.
So that'd be just under a mil.
They're capping you, right? Yeah. So, you can get sexy.
What if I put 200,000 in cash down,
absolutely.
And then the loan amount's 900? That would work.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
And the thing with FHA, if you put down that much money, the MIP, the mortgage insurance, goes away in 10 years. FHA has preferential rates compared to conventional finance. So if you know how to play it, again, you can make a smart move. But again, it comes down to financial literacy. I think that's why we're sitting here. Financial literacy, educating yourself, speaking to the right people, because everybody. I have a client right now, I'm not going to say her name. She works in a supermarket. Everybody's an attorney there. Like the deli guy's an attorney. The vegetable guy's an attorney. He's telling, what about this? What about that? And she calls, hey, what about this? I was like, who are you talking to? Yeah. Please, stop. Just go to work. Don't talk to the guy who's in the produce section. He's going, did you know about this? Did you know about that? I'm like, come on. And there's so much bad information that goes out there. And I think, especially Latinos, man, they love the bochinchal. They love to talk. Everybody knows everybody, more than everybody else, and it becomes an ego thing. Yeah. I think that's the part we kind of gotta fight a lot of.
That's what my partner Alan was telling me too. He was like, "Who are you getting your financial? You cannot get your financial advice from an Uber driver. Correct. You could love him. You could give him a good tip. I had an Uber driver recently. He returned my phone from Queens. Shout out. Super grateful. Gave him a huge tip for that. He didn't even want to take it. He was gonna take it back." But I'm not going to take my full financial advice from you. It doesn't make sense. You need to be getting advice from people that have the results you want, right? In those specific areas, right? So if someone has a perfect marriage, they might not be doing well financially, but if they have the perfect marriage,
Ask them
then
about that.
ask them about that, right? If they're doing well financially, well, then you can ask them about that, right? But don't go and ask someone who is a multimillionaire but has a bad marriage. You can't get marriage advice.
Why you got married 5 times? Because the money called me more than the woman. I don't feel like a lot of it's easy, but I think you're absolutely right. I think what you have to also, you have to be. I also believe that you have to be around. I use
certain circles.
I was gonna say basically proximity is power, right? So if you want to learn about certain things, like when I want to learn about crypto, I called you. I don't know shit about that. I got on the phone with you. Yo, what is this? Let's talk. And still don't know that much, but I'll call you because that's your shit. Same thing with real estate or financing. How do we put this deal together? I'd be like, hey, this is the way I would do that deal. Just go. Of course, not everybody has access to people like us, but I'm sure in your circle you have somebody who's had some sort of limited or some sort of success that you can access to. And I think the people they're just too embarrassed, right? Sometimes I ask questions all the time, like guys that are way ahead of me, like the $100 million guys. I'm like, yo, how'd you do that? And they're really cool about it. But I think they're really cool about it because they see the execution, right? Like they're like, this is what you have to do. And then they'll see me 3 months, they'll be like, oh shit, he's doing it, right? Whereas you have somebody who comes for your advice, doesn't do shit you ask them to do, comes back and complains. Yeah. Like, did you do that? Nah, I didn't do any of that. I'm like, then why'd you expect this to work?
Yeah, so Alan...
we gotta get Alan on the show?
Yeah, we gotta get Alan next. So Alan is the co-founder of Latino Wall Street. He runs Neverlone Capital hedge fund here in Manhattan. They also have a branch in Mexico. And so we did an event. We did a mastermind event in January. So it was like we just came off in the stock market of the bull run. Stocks were high, like still pretty much at all-time highs. And one of the guys attended the mastermind, came back to us, 6 months later, and was like, "Oh, my portfolio is in red. The mastermind didn't work." It's like, okay, great. Take a screenshot of your portfolio. Send it to me. Yeah, let's take a look. And I was like, dude, you're in crypto. I told you to get out of crypto. I told you it was going to crash. You're in tech stocks and growth stocks. I told you to buy commodities. Like, you didn't do nothing that I told you to do. If you would have bought oil and gold, you would have been good right now.
Right.
And so I think there is a habit that a lot of people get into where they ask for advice and then they don't take it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you cannot blame me for the results you get from the advice that you didn't take, right?
Absolutely. I can't take credit or blame if you didn't listen to anything I said. Yeah. So if you made it and you got lucky, great. I can't take any credit for it. Let me ask you so Latino Wall Street, is it like a subscription-based thing? They ask you do you tell them stock picks, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we do online webinars, workshops, courses. We have one of our most popular products is an 8-week course that takes you from zero to hero on the stock market. We also have an online subscription called Latino Wall Street TV. So instead of turning on your TV and watching novellas or
Stranger Things.
Yeah, or Stranger Things, Netflix, right? You can download the Latino Wall Street app. We have apps for Android and iPhone. We also have apps for all the smart TVs, Apple TV, Google, Android, Roku. And it gives you access to live content every single day, 5 days a week, every day that the market's open.
All based on the market?
Yeah. Okay. Every day that the market's open, we give you market analysis. And that's a subscription.
Who's your typical subscriber?
We focus primarily on Latinos in the United States.
Okay.
We do have Latinos internationally in Peru, Mexico, different places, but we focus primarily on Latinos in the United States. It's a lot easier to invest in the markets if you're in the US. There's ways to do it when you're outside. There's different platforms, etc. But also the amount of capital that you need if you're fighting the currency conversions. A lot of times people are getting wiped out, and that's a lot of our clients internationally are usually people that are really wealthy in their country,
right? But over
and
there,
they're just seeing and they're seeing inflation. We complain about inflation here in the U.S. Inflation in Latin America is really bad,
incredible. I mean, I had a client. She's based out of Denmark, Dominican lady, was gonna buy a property in Brooklyn for like a couple mil, and the market tanked, and she was like, half my money's gone. She's like, I can't do it. I just don't.
Her money was in the Denmark.
It was in Denmark dollars and all that.
Really?
Yeah. So she was like, half my money's gone. She was like, I can't do this. It was during the oil, when all that kind of started popping off and everything was going left.
Yeah, Peru got hit really bad recently. Colombia is like on the brink of collapse because they elected socialists. We gotta stop electing socialists, man.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as free money, and there's no such thing as free anything.
I think that people think about, and again, this might alienate some of the people. Socialism, I think a lot of people don't just want to be told what to do. I think they're tired of, because if it goes wrong, it's on them, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier, like, the country.
Fix it.
Yeah, the country, do this. I don't want to, I just want to live my life, whatever that life is, and usually the people, and that's, I believe, the majority mindset, and unfortunately, most people don't want to be rock stars. I think they just want to, whatever happiness, whatever it is, like some guys like to gamble, right? That's not my shit. Some guys like to drink. Some guys, whatever it is, people have their things and they gravitate towards it. And sometimes people, look, man, I don't know if you ever woken up once in a while, like, man, why the fuck am I in charge of all this shit? Like, there's days that you're like, but then you get back to it, you're like, I'm built for this. And you kind of talk to yourself and get yourself back into work mode. But I think for the most part, I think most people don't have that talk with themselves. They're like, I just don't want to deal with that.
It's his fault.
Too hard. It's too hard.
Biden.
Yeah, it's whoever's there.
Yeah.
It's Eric Adams. Whatever. What's the man compare me? Yeah, it's Biden, or it was Trump. It was this. It's always somebody else's fault. It's never your fault. And I think that becomes the easy way out for most people. That's my belief. And, probably a lot of comments about that, but it's what I believe.
Yeah. Well, and I think if you're able to take responsibility, right, that everything's your fault. Even if it isn't, if you're able to take the mindset that, hey, everything that happens, good, bad, or ugly, or indifferent, it's all my fault, well, then you have the power to change it, right? Because if it's Biden's fault, then I got to wait around for Biden to fix it, right? So I think
Biden's falling off bicycles, bro. I wouldn't be waiting for Biden right now. He's falling off bicycles.
Oh, that's why he didn't come and give me healthcare yet. Shit, I was waiting for him to come.
He needs his own healthcare.
Pay my student loan, but he tripped on a bicycle.
Yeah, everybody's beefing about their student loans not being paid off. Like, why the fuck would that happen? Why? You don't want to pay your debts? That's another conversation. It's like, people want the free ride. Yeah. People want the free ride. I'm going back to the stimmy money. That I really believe all that happened with the pandemic, because then we have a whole generation of people. The guys are just like, I have kids who just graduated high school, college. They're seeing that like this is reality. Like, I could work from my house and do minimum, and I got my diploma, and like all that shit. And I'm like, yo, bro, that's not the real deal. Again, going back to the recession that I feel is impending. It's gonna separate, it's gonna purge, it's gonna, either put your pants on and let's go, or you're just gonna hang out and just become a customer of the government, which is, people that, look, some people start there. You don't have to stay there. That's the one thing I have to say. We can all start there. Look, when I came over, my mom, Puerto Rico, no English, welfare, all that, yeah, I didn't stay there, right? Most people, they get institutionalized, like, this is the way, and this is a great thing, and I was talking to somebody else about Section 8 living. I don't know if you know about Section 8 housing.
Yeah.
Section 8 housing is subsidized by the government, but you can only make a certain amount of money if you live there. So if you make too much,
you have that psychological barrier.
Yeah, you're like,
not doing too well.
Let me stay here, because I'm good here.
Yeah.
This is nice. And it's not really, because when you see the other possibilities out there, and you open your mind, and I think that's what it really comes down to, opening your mind. The sky's the limit. But yeah, again, going back to what you're saying, you gotta be accountable. Because if you crash and burn, get up. Because nobody, all right, that's, it is what it is. It doesn't have to be the end of the movie, but you gotta keep going,
So I know we're running low on time. I just want you to break down these bigger deals that we were talking about.
Okay.
How do they work, right? How does somebody get involved? Let's say I have 20,000 sitting on the sidelines of my savings. I don't know where to put it. I cashed out my crypto. I got 20 G sitting there, and I want to put it into some real estate. But I don't want to go and buy a 1 family or 2 family. I want to get into a bigger deal. Well, how does that bigger deal work? What do I get for my money?
Called the formation of it will be what's called a REIT, a real estate investment trust. And what happens is, you put your $20,000 into a pool, and you get
with other investors,
right? With other people, and whatever fraction that money represents to the pool, you get a dividend monthly. So you get a monthly, income and expense on the unit, on the property, whatever it is. You could be a 0.001 owner of 300 apartments. I'm just using that as an example. And let's say your payout is $200 a month, for 20,000, but for the rest of your life, if you stay there, and the rents only go up, so your dividend grows and grows like that. So people can do it that way. That's what we're working on forming for the next level. After we finish this phase, we'll have more than 200 units under management just for people. And then we're gonna start going into the 500 units and 1,000 units and out of state. Like our holdings are mostly in other states because the cash flow works a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Puerto Rico there's been a lot of talks with different people about building a lot of like bigger structures out there. Maybe the tax incentives, things like that. We're looking at that. I'll be able to finance Puerto Rico soon, so that's the only reason I'm having these conversations now, because I want to be abreast of what's happening. But that's really the easiest way to do it. You invest in the fund and you get your monthly statement and you get your residuals, and it'll only go up, and it doesn't go to zero. Like, I'm not shitting on any other investment, but you won't. There's not an explosion of wealth accumulation, but it's constant, and there's a hedge. It won't go down, so it won't go to zero. You can make $200 a month forever, or 3 or 4. It's not gonna go to 1,000, but it's forever, and it never goes away. Whereas you go to the market, I have friends that lost a lot of money in options. Options are a great way to make money, but you get burned. And that's part of the game.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of gambling that happens in the crypto market, and in options trading, day trading, depending on what.
But strategy. That's what everybody is using on YouTube. Yeah. They go on YouTube, they don't know who they're following. People are talking about options trading.
Well, they're taking it like a lottery ticket. Hey, I'm gonna put 50 cents in, and that 50 cents is gonna turn into $500. Like, I'm sorry, that's not investing. That's a gamble.
Right.
Because that 50 cents could disappear.
Right. And you're being nice, because most people took their stimmy money and went to the market and got burned.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people, I had 50,000, I have 0. Okay. What education did you get on it? Well, no, I was looking on YouTube and this guy was doing options and I did options. And I'm like, okay.
Well, there was a kid that committed suicide.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. It was Robinhood. He was trading on Robinhood, and he got like margin called or option called, and so he woke up and his account said negative 900,000, and he committed suicide.
Wow.
Yeah, because it said that he owed the money, and there was like an 18, 19-year-old kid still living with his parents.
Wow.
And he committed suicide because he opened his Robinhood trading account, and it said that he owed all this money, and he thought
Did he owe the money?
World. I think it was even a glitch.
Jesus Christ.
That he wouldn't have even ended up owing all of it or something. I don't know. But yeah, it came out on the news like a year back. In the midst of all that stimulus and all that crazy trading, Robinhood, fiasco trading.
What was the game?
We don't even
was
teach.
It the Game Boy? What was it?
We don't even teach Robinhood.
GameStop? Yeah. Thanks, Ray.
We don't even teach Robinhood in our programs because it's such a low barrier to entry that it makes it like a game. It's gamified. And you can trade on your phone. Sometimes I'll execute something on my phone if it's not that important. But in general, we think that you should be taking trading seriously. So the platforms that we teach TD Ameritrade and interactive brokers for international people. But those are full platforms that you need to open on a laptop and really look at the charts, look at the graphs, look at everything, see a P&L. Really clear, and it's not like Robinhood where you make a trade and there's like an emoji, and they got criticized for that, for gamifying it so much that it really is gambling, right? They've gamified it so much through the app experience where they play a sound and there's confetti that flies.
Successful trade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So they've gamified it so much, and there's actually laws to prevent that in the stock market. That the FCC was criticizing them. I don't know if they changed the app at all as a result of it, but it was scrutinized for that because you're dealing with money and people's psychology. Gambling addiction is a real thing. People's psychology gets so caught up, and they don't have that long-term mindset. And then they could end up getting burned.
It goes back to financial literacy, right? And
and investing in things you believe in, right? Well, so a lot of people that I know,
they just try to make dollar.
The biggest mistake that I see is that instead of investing into a company that they know, trust, believe in, like Apple, right? Like I own a lot of stock in Apple. Why? Because I believe in Apple. I use all their products. I know they're not going anywhere. For me, that's as solid as a piece of real estate.
Right.
Fucking Apple's not going nowhere.
Right.
But what they'll do is they'll go on YouTube, like you said, they'll go on TikTok, and they'll see some random ticker symbol. They don't even know what the company is, and they're just investing into it because someone else told them to. You know, so that's
called the herd mentality.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, like you don't even know what the fuck you're doing. You're just doing it because somebody else is doing it.
Oh yeah, this guy said X, Y, Z, right?
Yeah.
So
he's doing it. Must be good.
the two things that we teach in our programs before you make an investment is to do technical analysis, which is looking at charts and graphs, but more important than that is fundamental analysis, right? Looking at the company. What is this? It's okay you don't have to invest all your money into Apple, but before you invest into a company, what is this company? What do they do? Who are the founders? What's their profit and loss statements? Are they making money?
What's their business model?
What's their business model?
Yeah, absolutely.
What I use this company is this something that I even understand, right? You're investing into things that you don't understand. I mean, similar in real estate, there's timeshares and there's people that buy a fractional piece of real estate in some other country and they think that that's, you know, they buy swampland and those sorts of.
Yeah.
When you're investing into things you don't understand in general, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, so before you invest into anything, you need to do your research. And that's one of the things that we teach. We teach going through the systems to pull that data out because the data is there. We also recommend that people focus on S&P 500 and Dow 30 companies, right? That's a really easy way to make sure that you're investing into real companies that aren't going to go anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, it's S&P 500. Tesla, for example, Tesla was recently added to the S&P 500. So the last couple of years, Tesla was considered a startup. It was considered really risky. And just recently, I think it was about 18 months ago now, they were added to the S&P 500, right? But that was a big deal for them when that guy was like an official stamp, like, fuck, you're in the top 500 companies in the world.
You're legit.
You know, you're legit, right? So I think if you play in investing into companies that you believe in, investing into things that you believe in, right, you're going to be in a good financial position. But too many people, to your point, they look at investing like gambling. They have a short-term mindset, right? And my favorite quote from Warren Buffett is that recessions, when the tide comes in from a recession, right, like an ocean, when the tide comes in, you get to see who's swimming naked. Right? So it was really easy. A fucking monkey could make money in 2020, right? It was so easy to make money.
If you weren't making money in 2020, 2020 was a fucked up year for you. I'm just letting you know. Because it was easy and there was a lot of space for mistakes, right? Because money was free and things were kind of moving and people were really earning.
Yeah.
Now the guys, like I said, it's a purge. Now the guys that are doing it, they're going to keep doing it because win, lose, or draw, I'm going to make it happen, right? And I'm sure you're going to make it happen. That's the differentiator. And that's what I was saying about people getting out of the business right now. But to jump on what you're saying, you do the S&P 500, you do the background, the research on the company. If you're looking to buy real estate, then you should go into the neighborhood you're looking to buy. You should go see what the proximity is to municipalities, meaning trains and buses, if you're going to rent it, so that you know if your target tenant is somebody who works and has to get to and from work and doesn't have a car and stuff like that, then you got to look at it that way. You got to almost be like a master planner and understand our one of our units in Massachusetts, 21 units, bus stop right in front. And that's everybody takes the bus in Massachusetts. It's a really big bus town. That was one of the major reasons we got into it. And everybody pays on time. It's great. I love it. I wish I had bought more. I'm in the middle of buying more, but
well, that's what they say. Real estate's the only thing God's not making any more of it. So.
Correct. Land, they're not making any more land, bro. What else do you want to leave the viewers with before we cut today?
I think final notes, final closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
You need to be building your life financially, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you are an investor, whether you're working a job. You need to build your life that you're recession proof. So
Correct.
For the last 3 years, we've been hosting these conferences and workshops around this idea of becoming recession proof. And what that means is that, yes, there will be ups and downs into the market. Right now, we're heading into a downturn. We've been talking about it already for 6 months that this has been happening. And literally next week, they should be announcing that it's officially a recession.
Okay.
A recession is defined when you have 2 quarters of economic downturn in a row. So
Okay.
2 quarters in a row,
So
right?
we're going into it.
So yeah, they should be announcing it officially starting next week. But when we go into these times of recession, it is the time, the best time to create opportunities. So you need to be structuring yourself, that we talked about in the beginning, to be essential, to be an essential business, an essential part of the economy. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to sell masks and food and water, right? But make sure that you're providing more value to the marketplace than you're taking. And make sure that you're prepared for these times, because these are the best times to get rich. These are the times when millionaires get created, because the people that are able to weather the storm are able to get through it. I'll leave us with one more story. So there's a bunch of ships, and these ships are in the middle of the ocean, and they get the news that there's a storm coming. There's this terrible, crazy storm coming. So a bunch of the boats, they just head back to the dock. They head back to the dock. They're like, I'm gonna go back to the dock, and I'm gonna tie up, and I'm gonna keep myself safe, right? And this one boat stays out there and says, no, we're gonna weather the storm. We're not gonna quit. We're not gonna run back to we're gonna weather the storm. And what happens? The storm comes, and all the boats that are at the dock, they get completely destroyed.
Destroyed against the dock.
Yeah, because you being tied to the dock and thinking you get completely destroyed. And it was the one ship that had the courage to stay out there and actually weather the storm, that when the sun came out, they were the only ones standing. So I say that to say this, the recession is coming, the recession is here, but you need to be able to weather the storm. And if you have the courage, then you're gonna be here to see sunny days.
And if you want to see a visual of what he just explained, watch Forrest Gump, all right? That's how he did Bubba Shrimp. And one thing I want to leave everybody with is that I think innovation will always be created out of necessity, right? So be innovative and stay ahead of the curve. Don't be afraid to ask questions of people that are where you might want to be at that moment. Like if you see somebody a little farther ahead than you, usually if you come at them with the right intentions and the right approach, they're usually more than willing to help you and give you advice and talk to you. But then, it's your fucking obligation to execute. If you take somebody's time, and I'm talking about me right now, if you take my time, it's the only thing I can't buy back. I can't make it. There's no way I'm getting that back. So I have no problem being of service, but then it's on you to make it happen. All right. So everybody can get to everybody through these things called phones. I'm always available. But please, if you're going to ask me for advice, no charge, no problem. I got you. But execute, man. That's the one thing I would tell, because the only way you're gonna get somewhere is by putting your head down and just going on faith. Live in faith, not fear. Because everybody wants to watch TV and be in fear, and then all of a sudden they're shocked. They can't do anything because they're so scared. Believe in yourself more than you're scared of yourself, and good things happen. I believe.
Boom.
Let's
leave it there.
Bullsoli, baby. Bullsoli.
Wall Street, the Mafia, Internet Mafia.
The Mafia.
Omar, I appreciate you, man. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you in the next one.
Peace.